Believe it or not, January 2022 is out of the blocks. It's going quick. And what I find is usually, December, January, we get excited. It's a new year. It's a new chance to work on new things, set new goals, hit new targets. From a business perspective, from a personal perspective, from a financial perspective, maybe even from a fitness perspective. But for most of us, that excitement starts to trail off somewhere around day 21 in January, right? And hopefully that's not you, but maybe it is. And if so, hopefully this is an opportunity to kind of recalibrate, refocus, keep your momentum going. What I want to talk about in this video is how to keep the momentum that you had in January going and the excitement and enthusiasm into February and March so you can have a really strong Q1 this year. And so really what I want to encourage you to do, one of the most powerful things you can do outside of setting goals and targets, because I'm a big believer at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the quarter, we're setting goals, we're setting targets, we're getting ourselves excited, we're creating our own direction, our own momentum. But the second most important thing you can do is hold yourself accountable to the accomplishment of those goals and targets that you set. Because what often happens, again, is we set these goals and targets and then we forget about it, right? January becomes February. Before you know it, it's December again, and the year has passed, and there's not as much outcome. There's not as much success as we probably wanted. And so really what I want to encourage you to do is at the end of every month, at the end of every quarter, at the end of every year, have a conscious pause point. It doesn't have to be long. I'm not telling you to go out to the beach or go out to the mountains or something. I'm just saying have a conscious pause point right now to reflect, right? If you were kind of following along and you did our process where we mapped out 2022, we set our goals and targets for the year, how many clients we'll have, how much recurring revenue, we mapped out a plan. You should have a mechanism, and all of us probably have some kind of mechanism, right, where we wrote down these goals and targets, and we said, okay, so if that's where I want to be by the end of the year, and that's where I want to be by the end of the quarter, what do I need to be by the end of January, right? We all did that, but what most of us don't do is look back and say, okay, my goal was to sell 7 clients and grow my MRR by $10,000 and get to $70K in monthly recurring. That's great to set. The question is, did you get there or not? And really what I encourage you is use this opportunity to look, but don't look too harshly, right? If you hit it, awesome. High fives all around, celebrate, keep that momentum going. If you didn't, just the practice of looking back, consciously recognizing, man, I didn't hit it, and letting the team know, hey guys, we set this target and we didn't get there, and course correcting based on that can have a huge impact. So just give me a 1 in the comments if you're committed to at least check in with yourself, to check in on a monthly basis, to check in on a quarterly basis on your goals and targets. When you do that, you can keep the momentum going, but more importantly, you can develop what I think is the most powerful muscle you can develop, and it's the muscle of manifestation, the ability to set an intention, hey, here's where I'm going, here's what I want to do, and then actually do the work effort to get the outcomes that you're after. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do, right? First of all, I'd like you to go back and look at January. Just look at your sales. How many clients did you land? How much is your recurring revenue up or down? Were there any anomalies, right? Did you hit the target? Did you not hit the target, right? You need to know that. Your team needs to know that, right? Your team, if you hit the target, needs some kind of kudos, right? You don't have to go do anything crazy, but something to say, hey, great January. Look, we hit this target. This is something good that happened. And there's always something good you can say back to the team. If you didn't hit the target, come back to the team and say, hey, here was the target. Here's where we ended up. They want to know, right? They want to know, and not everybody knows the numbers as much as you would as the owner in the business. They want to know, like, how did we do? And if we missed it, let's rethink why. Let's think what we could do differently. Bringing the team into that conversation, getting them involved in those outcomes can really make a difference in where you go and what you accomplish. So that's the first thing. On track or off track so far for Q1 in 2022. The next thing I would probably encourage you to look at is your strategy session tracking metrics. We all know that if we're going to hit growth targets, if we're going to hit next level growth targets, we have to land clients. And to land clients, really the KPIs are typically how many strategy sessions or sales appointments did we have, and what was our close ratio. For us in the 7-figure agency, we have a mechanism, right, where we track that on a month by month basis. How many appointments did we have? How many of them converted? What's our close ratio, right? And we're probably shooting for somewhere between 25 and 45%. Greater than that, awesome. Less than that, hey, let's look. Something wrong with the lead quality, something wrong with our sales process, something wrong with maybe a new salesperson that we put in place. Earlier in your business, right? If you're kind of in that startup phase, it's probably not enough volume, right? It's not enough strategy sessions. I wanted to sell 5 clients, but I didn't. What's the problem? Well, let's look at the number of strategy sessions. I only did 3, right? That's absolutely not going to happen, right? We know we need probably 15 to 20 per month if we want to land 5 clients. So spend that time, look back, and what I want to encourage you to do is find the lessons, right? Find the things that happened in January that you're like, okay, this worked and I'm happy about that. This didn't work, so this is something I'm going to change and something I'm going to shift going forward. And so if you're watching this live with me, put live. If you're watching it on the replay, put replay. What I encourage you to do, if you're watching this live after this, like go do this right now. Don't wait until you have like an hour of time. Just pause for a minute, look this stuff up, and kind of share back the feedback with the team. If you're watching it on the replay, pause right now and do that part, right? This process is what world-class organizations do. It's what world-class entrepreneurs do, right? They set goals, they set targets, they hold themselves to benchmarks and goals, right? And they have quotas. And then if they don't hit it, somebody knows, and they have to course correct, right? And I want you guys to do that in your agencies. So once you've had a second to look back and gut check how you're doing so far this year, even more important is like, let's look towards the next month. Let's look towards February and March and what those goals and targets are. Really, I want to make sure that the target is still clear for you and that it's still achievable, right? Whatever you had plotted out for at least February and March, make sure those numbers are still achievable. If not, maybe adjust back. If you knocked it out of the park, maybe adjust forward, right? Set yourself a clear target that you know and your entire team knows, here's what we're looking to accomplish from a growth perspective in February, right? Here's what we're looking to accomplish in March. That way everybody's clear on what the outcomes are and what the goals are. And get clear on, all right, if that's what we have to do, how many strategy sessions will we need? How many sales appointments will we need to make that a reality? And if you're larger, the other thing to think about is, how's our retention looking, right? Maybe we hit our sales targets, but we churned a lot more clients than we're expecting. Instead of losing 2 clients, we lost 5 in January. Maybe it's an opportunity to say, let's go look at our retention strategies. Maybe there's things we can do to kind of move that part, that metric in the right direction. So get clear on what those metrics are, especially for February and March, and spend a couple of minutes thinking about the strategies you're going to put in place to hit the appointment targets that you've got, right? Hypothetically, you're shooting for 5 new clients, right? We know that if you got a 30% closing ratio, you're going to need at least 15 to 25 strategy sessions for sales appointments for you or somebody on your team to make that a reality. What are you doing to fill the funnel? What are you doing to get those appointments booked in? Things, right? Are you doing your value video 10 by 10, like sending out those messages, getting prospects to raise their hands? Maybe you could do an email blast out to your entire database right now. Hey, just wanted to check in. It's a new month. How was January for you? Sometimes, January doesn't come off the blocks as well as we'd hope. We'd love to jump on a call and just talk about how we might be able to help you crush it in February and March, right? Something like that might get a couple responses. I would always suggest, and I always suggest this, is to do a fully promoted webinar, right? Last month, you probably did the 2022 Internet Marketing Plan webinar. This month, do something about how to set up their website for conversion or how to drive leads via Facebook ads or Google ads. Do a follow-on to your January webinar. That gives you a reason to email the database, right? Get them excited. Hey, you're up to something new. You've got new insights to share. You're going to get appointments from that if you've already developed your database at some level. And then you're going to create new content that you can load to YouTube, you can load to iTunes, you really push out across the internet to further develop your positioning. So at least one webinar in February, guys. Maybe a podcast interview, maybe get a little bit more aggressive with your Facebook ads, targeting the niche that you're in. But I really want you to get clear in your mind. What's the goal? How many clients do we need to sell in February? What's the KPI? How many strategy sessions do we need to set? And then map out your action plan to get those strategy sessions, right? To get that in place. This is really the power of, like, yes, we set a goal, but then we actually build an action plan, and then we actually hold ourselves accountable at the end of each month to do that gut check. So hopefully this has been a good reminder for you. I want to help you keep the momentum going in February, in March, so we can have an amazing Q1 and, more importantly, an amazing 2022. Let me know what your wins were. I know a lot of you guys have wins. A lot of you guys have things that you're excited about. Let's hear some wins here in the comments. Big wins for January 2022. And that's it for now. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's crush it in February, guys.